computer because you stream to one location and then. Okay, just let's check.
Cool. Cool. Are you just enabling the stream or? Oh, I can't hear your audio at all. Oh, I'll go to private.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flashlight Fanatics. My name's Darren Yu, and this is Tim McMahon. And today we are using a new streaming service, and we thought we'll give this a try. We want to talk a little bit about Fidget Flashlight today, and also give you all an opportunity to call in and say hi. You don't have to actually come on camera. You can just pop your audio on and ask questions, have a chat if you'd like. But yeah, thank you all for coming along. There's a bunch of you watching, so yeah, if you're here and watching, leave a message down in the comments, and yeah, let us know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions as well. And Frank here, question: what's a flashlight? To Tim, you'll probably know.
That's
more
a good
about
one to start it off with. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, what is a fidget flashlight? I guess so. This Ace Beam Rider RX is probably one of the first fidget flashlights that I've seen on the market. It was released about a year or two ago, and it's got like a bolt action type thing, so I can rotate the pocket clip and then slide it. So you can. There's a little ball bearing just in there, and it switches between that notch and that one, so I can go side to side and then lock it into this other one and fully extend it. So that's kind of just going side to side and then down, and it's just a fidgety type thing. So that was like the first type of torch that I've seen come onto the market as a fidget type torch. Wondering what other torches you've got, Darren, or fidget torches.
Yeah, well, look, I don't have as many of them, and I don't know if you'd even count these as fidget lights, but mainly just these lights that have bits and pieces that you can flick up and play with. And I don't know about you guys, but I find when I'm sitting at my desk and, if I'm doing some work or whatever, I kind of need to get my hands occupied at times. It helps me to think. I don't know why, but that's just something I do. It helps me to stay concentrated. Just a little fun thing to play with. We've also got got some easy sort of knives as well, blades, that kind of thing. But I've seen a few flashlights out there that you sort of can spin the head of it. Tim's got one of those. I mean, this is the
Yep.
Wubin. What is this one? The Wubin X0, and it's got
Like
this
a
sort of
flicky thing.
like this sort of head that you sort of flick around. And some people think they're a bit gimmicky, but yeah, I suppose if you look at it from a practical point of view, yeah, it doesn't really add really any function, but it's fun and it's cool to play with. So, yeah, I guess that's the
Yep.
gist of it. And they do look different from your average flashlight. So if you some getting bored of playing with your usual tube style flashlight, these are actually pretty cool if you want to bring around, show your friends and stuff like that. And I thought I'd mention quickly as well, I'm streaming, Tim and I are streaming this on our platforms, on different platforms, but I'll also put the link to our podcast. So if you look down below, just put it up there. So basically just, if you get a chance, if you're enjoying the stream and want to see more, podcasts, especially if you want us to talk about particular topics as well, do check out our actual Flashlight Fanatics podcast channel. After the stream's over, I'm going to disable, just remove the video from actual channels. So if you want to re-watch it, make sure you, go back to that channel there, as you can see, at Flashlight Fanatics. And
got some of your regular tubular torches here. The 14500. You got this little well tool. It's like the tubular, and then you got the Rider RX. They're very similar. Look almost or very similar in design and color scheme here, but
yeah,
you got that quite boring pocket clip on the well tool, and a fun one, the bolt action on this Rider RX.
Oh wow! How does that one work? Is the clip connected to the switch?
This one, the switch is. Oh, these two little screws here. They've got this little standoff here. This little black standoff.
Oh, okay.
So there's two screws on the black standoff, and they're actually screwed directly into the inner tube. This blue anodized aluminium tube on the inside. So it just pushes the whole thing, moves around. So it rotates side to side. So I'm
that's
rotating
cool.
there. And then
bolt action.
Push it. It's a bolt action type of torch.
Yeah.
So if you like a bolt action torch.
Reminds me of a pen. Reminds me of a pen that I got recently. Like one of those tactical pens that also has that same mechanism. You see people use that in their things as well. This is your new. I saw you did a quick video of this, or some videos of that well tool. It's a cool color.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting camouflage color. It's got a little throwy beam. I think it's probably an SFT12. Can't confirm or deny. It's got a little circular emitter in the middle there, but it's super throwy. And then you've got the new LEP by Neil's Gadgets, the Enlight DL2. So quite intense, but similar beam types.
It's kind of warmer. The right beam is pretty warm, hey?
Yeah, it's got a
Like
bit of
LEP?
the LEP's probably got, like, it's 4,000 Kelvin, so it's a little bit warmer, but
Yeah,
it's hard to hotspot. It's hard to see, but there's a massive spill on the small one on the well tool, which is quite
yeah,
practical, whereas the LEP, this one's got a wider hotspot at a distance, so yeah, that's quite handy, but it's not really fidgety other than the tail cap is fun to play with. I like the I like forward clicky tail claps the best. They're just fun to press in the like your traditional type of torch instead of having like a million different button presses. Like if you've got the Anduril, they're quite complicated. Where I just like the simple smash the button and off you go.
yeah. Man, I just use mainly when when I'm just doing some work on my desk, I just have this one here, the Raylight Pineapple Mini. And I know what you mean because you've just got one
Yep,
button on the back. It's just, especially because it's got a bit of weight to it as well. It's a titanium flashlight. It's a
yep.
little bit heavier than aluminium, but it's not as heavy as copper. And yeah, it's just one of those lights you can play around with. You drop it, no problem if it gets a scratch on it. And yeah, it's just kind of fun to press and play with it for just to keep your hands busy. But I know what you mean when you're looking at those rubber switch, side switch
Yep.
lights. Yeah,
I
I
got
just
one.
keep
Yeah,
those for other purposes.
like the oh, what
This
is
one's
it?
got a really low moonlight mode as well. I think that's like 0.5 lumen. You might know about 0.5
uh,
lumen something.
geez, I can't measure
Yeah,
them that low. My
yeah,
lumen tube's not that accurate. Below 1
yeah,
lumen, it's just too dim. But they're like the Workhorse TS10. I like them, but yeah, they're a bit complicated. You've got this one button to control the whole thing, so you've got to memorize all the button presses, which I can do, but I just enjoy the simple torches as well. I like
yeah.
programming these and modifying them, but yeah, simple is
You
nice
know,
too.
do see some lights that come with a lot of these tritium slots here. You might have some of these. Like
Yeah.
I've got, this is the Wubin X0, and I think these fit. What are these
Oh,
like?
that's a heavy one, isn't it? The brass.
Yeah, this one's pretty heavy. So I don't bring this out with me much, but it's fun to just use at home. And these are some tritium tubes. I got them from a website called Mixglow. Actually, Tim told me about these. You can't really see these so well, but especially underneath this stronger light. But these are tritium tubes, so they kind of just glow. Maybe I can turn my camera down a little bit. Yeah, you can see a little bit of tiny bit of glow from them. But these are like really cool. They're great for just adding on. Oh, blasting this camera too bright. Yeah, but they're great for just adding on to onto lights. Obviously, these ones are too big. They're like about 3 centimeter or something like that. Tritium tubes. I'm actually going to get one of those Geiger counters, those dosimeters, to see if it actually measures.
Uh,
Come.
Probably really low.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get the geez, what is it? The lane apple or not lane apple?
Oh yeah. Is that a pink purple one?
Yeah, it's got a little purple tube. Fellow
Oh yeah.
enthusiast
Yep.
um kindly sent me some tritium tubes, which is really nice of them. I've just
Yeah.
used the E6000 glue to hold them in place temporarily, but it's
Yep.
holding up quite well.
That was the UV curing glue or something, yeah? I can't remember what
Uh,
I've used with mine. I
I just
think
use the
it's
E6000, which is not as
yeah.
it doesn't set hard. Oh, it's sort of you can still remove it with the goo off type stuff.
Oh, right, yeah. I think that's probably better, especially if if you want to replace it or if you break it, it's just gonna be less of a pain. If you use that UV curing glue, it dries really hard. So yeah, I don't know how
Yep.
you're gonna break the tube if you try to get it out. So
Got
yeah,
this the Manka Time Back 3. So like ultimate fidget type torch. You got
yeah.
the
What's it do?
it's got this on the tail cap, it's got this LED thing, or I think multiple LEDs. It's kind of swirling around. I think I can hold it for a second to get it to
Mhm.
change. the mode on the back. So it's
Yep.
gone to now it's sort of cycling between different colors. Hold again, and it'll fade in and out. And then I can make it try to swirl around.
Hmm.
So now it's swirling. But yeah, you can turn it on. I think. I've probably locked it out somehow, and I'll need to figure out how to unlock it. Um, there we go.
But the side of it spins.
Cool. So it's unlocked. The side spins, and you can actually see the auxiliary lights coming through um, these little like gem type things. So
Yeah.
the LED, the blue and red comes through that, and you can spin that. It's got a ball bearing, so that'll just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. It's
That's
probably
cool.
nicer with a titanium or a brass or a copper version because it's got a heavier weight to it, so you'll really feel it spinning when you move it around. It's a bit like a gyro. You'll feel it spinning,
Yeah.
but you can
And
pull the
and
head
it's
off.
and it's a pretty it's a great little standalone EDC light, isn't it? Like, what kind of functions does it have? Is it a floody, throwy light, or
It's got 4 emitters and like a frosty. I think it's a frosty Calclo optic.
yeah,
So I think they've got SST20 emitters. So that not too bad. Got warm, just cycling. I think it's low, medium, high. High. I can hold. I think. Try and get access to moonlight mode. So there's a moonlight mode, and then when it's on, you can cycle and double click for turbo.
yeah,
So it's got like moonlight, low, medium, high, and then turbo, which is probably all you kind of need.
nice,
Might be a strobe. Oh, yep, strobe warning. Sorry.
yeah,
But it's also got these other fidgety features. So these 3 are different. The middle one spins. So that just spins.
uh, yeah,
This one's got tactile feedback, or it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sort of clicking as I go.
okay, a bit of resistance
And
through each one,
and
yeah,
this one doesn't even spin. It's just a clicky. It's just a button
ah,
to click, and it doesn't do anything. I was like, "What's that for?
yeah,
Is that a on or mode button?" Like, nope, it doesn't do anything. It's just a clicky thing. Accidentally
that that's
unscrewed it.
that is definitely like a perfect fidget flashlight. Hey, because you see I found out about these fidget toys from those cubes that people can buy, and they just have like one side as a switch and one side as something you can turn, and yeah,
Ah,
this kind
yep.
of
I
reminds me a lot of that. And
think it's that.
yeah, when you took off the head before, what is that? Is that just it just breaks severs the connection? Is a copper connection or something?
uh, I think it's got. Oh, where's the power going? There should be a connection on the inside, so the inner ring, and then the outside.
Yeah,
So it's connecting to the head to give it power to power it up. So it came detached. So when it was in the box, it was just literally sitting in a box like this,
yeah.
with foam around it, and yeah, it just provides the power. But you can swap out. There are different types of torches that makers produce. Some of them have like a reflector or throwy type of head. So this is a floody head. You can put on like a throwy head as well. And I think there's different brands like Loop Gear. They've got the Esco 1S LEP, which has like a massive spinny thing as well.
Yeah, they gave me one of these recently and I reviewed it, the SK03. Yeah,
Yep.
SK03. There's nothing on it that spins or anything, but they do have these little clip-on filters. So yeah, it just allows you to change what do you call it? The auxiliary light. Just change the color of it. Oop, I haven't even got the thing screwed on. I actually can't remember how to press and hold. Yeah, there we go. Which is pretty cool. There's nothing that really spins on it, but I think they do have another one. Is it the SK01? SK01S that has
Yeah,
a few different sort of spinny head features as well.
the SK01S I think has this very similar tail cap or the tail button where it's got this LED thing and different auxiliary modes. So that reminds me of the Make a Time Back, the SK1S, and it's got a
Yeah,
big spinny thing on the side. So it's got. Oh, it also has a tactical ring, like a aluminium. I think it might be like a knuckle punch thing, but you can spin it. So it's just a ring on the side, and you can just flick it, and it'll spin.
yeah, sweet.
But yeah, trying to think
Yeah,
of
would
different
you
tactical torches.
like what got you into these fidget lights in the first place? Like me personally, I don't have any apart from the ones I have here on the table. You know,
Yep.
that's pretty much it. But yeah, what got you into them? Is it just having something different? Sometimes they come in exotic metals as well, not exotic, but things like copper
Yep.
or is it something that just
Um,
lasts and something you can hold on to
I think
and
when the fidget spinner craze took off, I never really got into it. I always had like Rubik's cubes and played around with a cube, and I'd fidget with the cube instead and just spin aside with one hand and just solve it. That was my fidget toy, solving Rubik's cubes. But then when Ace Beam came up with the Rider RX, I thought, okay, bolt action. It's kind of like the pens, as you mentioned. So that's a lot of
yeah,
fun. So that kind of got me into the fidget type torches. But um, I never thought I'd buy the Make a Time Back because it's quite expensive. And this is probably the cheapest version you can get, the aluminium one. It was on sale through Light Shop and cost about $145. But they usually sell for $300. And if you want like the titanium or brass versions, you're probably looking at 300 US dollars or 400. Yeah, it's a bit expensive, but
yeah,
uh, yeah, they're quite good, but it's quite cost prohibitive to get into. And um, I guess it's the same with the loop gear as well. They're quite fun, but very expensive.
yeah.
Um,
So I guess if you got some cash to burn and you want something a bit different, they're pretty cool. But yeah,
just
they're
keep an eye out for a
definitely.
sale.
I think because there's so few of them, that's why these manufacturers can just charge extra for them, and they're obviously like to engineer
Yep,
put all these things together. Like those parts are made of aluminium as well. The switches and stuff, so that would take
yep,
extra work to assemble, put on, to even design the thing to make sure it doesn't, that it lasts. You press it onto it however many tens
yep.
of thousands of times. But it's
That,
it's really cool. It looks like something from Halo or whatever, the like a
yep.
weapon.
I don't know if you can hear the like the stormtrooper accessory. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know
it
if you
does,
can
it
hear
does,
that.
eh?
That's the spinny. Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah,
got is it ASMR? Got the clicky. Get some ASMR action going on. Yeah.
Hey, you've
uh,
attracted some weird people now.
okay. Well, yeah.
We have
You
like an
like
ASMR,
torches?
ASMR torch channel.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Flip
So
Mode,
yeah,
how you doing?
cool. It's got the clicky spin and tactile spin. But yeah, I've only got a couple of fidget torches. It'd be great to see more fidget torches being produced by different companies at like a lower price point. But yeah, I can see it's quite. You need to get the engineering right, and the tolerances need to be pretty good. Otherwise, if you spin this and the tolerances are out a bit, it's gonna stop quickly and then not be as nice.
And it's a pretty narrow market in terms of people looking for lights like that. I find obviously when most people buying a flashlight, they're looking for something that's just does the job. Price is a big factor, also quality. So, you know, I think this is probably if you're really, looking for something different, if you own too many flashlights like we do,
A
this is
couple
kind of
already.
like
Yeah.
the next step.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like the time when I was just buying lights, trying to get ones that were brighter and brighter and brighter, kind of thing. You know,
Just reminded me of another. it's not. It's not this one, but the the lumen top gyro. I think there's a
not
gyro.
heard of it. What is it?
It's basically like a Thor one, but it's got an LED in the middle, and it has a spinny spinny thing on it.
Lemon top jar. Okay, never heard of
That's
it.
another. This
Yeah,
is just
yeah.
another LEP torch, but
Yep.
the
Try to
lumen
Google
top
it.
gyro is another fidget type torch.
Let me see if I can, share screen or something like that. Don't know if it'll let me do it.
Yep.
Select window.
I guess there's
I'm
a.
just trying some stuff out.
If you look at some of the spinners, they
There
probably
we go.
cost hundreds of dollars as well. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's got a spinny head.
Oh, it's got all these like the tritium slots as well on the sides.
Yeah.
There's a
They've
lot
got
going on
glow
there.
sticks in them.
Glow sticks. Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
you can't put in your own tritium sort of stuff.
You
Maybe,
could
maybe
probably
not.
remove it with the goo gone because they've only closed the ends up, so they've put a bit of glue at the end, but the actual slot is not glued. So you just have
Yeah.
to. You can probably just use tweezers and crank it up and push out the glue, and
Yep.
then install your own tritium vials. But yeah, that would be quite expensive if it's like $10 or $15 for each little tritium vial.
Yeah, I find the shipping as well was pretty expensive getting these little things over to Australia. And these are just the basic. I mean, there's just the basic vials like 0.5 millimeter
It's like
vials,
uh,
something like that.
1.5 by 6.5 or something. Not sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's
Oh, I have a-
don't remember which ones they are, but they last for about 30 years apparently. They glow from these tritium tubes. Because I do actually have one from about 12 years ago that I bought, and but those, back that time it only cost me 10-15 bucks, about 10-15 bucks for a big one like this. It's a gigantic tritium tube. But yeah, apparently it's pretty difficult for them. It's pretty difficult to source tritium these days. It comes from
Yeah.
I think it's a nuclear reactor byproduct.
No, I don't know. So it's 6.68 by 1.65. So it's probably 1.5 by 6.5 for this
Yeah.
little one.
Oh yeah. Got your calipers there.
Putting the calipers to use. Yeah. Saw them at
Yeah.
Olight factory and like, oh, okay, I might get some of those. I think people use them for gunsmithing and stuff, but won't go
Yeah.
into that. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, both of us, we own so many lights now, and if you're gonna buy another light, you're really looking at something unique. So I think, yeah, for me anyway, it's got to be some type of, either it looks different and it's something that I don't know. It's almost like an emotional thing. You think about it with fidget lights. It's rather than the practical value, of it. It's just something that
Yeah,
sticks
it's
out.
hard to justify new torches. Like you see a slight iteration come out, and it's like, well, do I really need that? And
Yeah,
yeah,
no, we're definitely not trying to. We're not trying to sell these. We wouldn't be able to anyway.
yep,
But it's yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, it's just one of the topics I thought we talk about, and there's a few of you still watching. If if you're watching from wherever, just leave a message if you have questions as well. Even if you have suggestions on stuff that you want us to talk about, and you're welcome to join. I've left the link. We've left the link in the video description if you want to come along and have a chat, because this wasn't really planned. This wasn't really planned at all, but we do want to talk about other kind of topics and also make sure that it's something you guys would be interested in as well. So yeah, I think we had what do we have planned? Maybe we can talk about some videos that we have planned in the future,
Yep.
because I know we talked about like our top flashlights, some of the recommendations that we had for 2024. Maybe we could
Yep.
go into other things like tactical lights, 18650 lights, stuff like that. Yeah, so if you guys are watching out there, just leave some suggestions down. We're very
Routine,
open. Oh, you've got your
the top gravity thingy,
Yep.
utility thing. But if I can, so it's not that much easier than it's like a fidget.
Wow,
But the actual, so it's got like this little tombstone thing
that looks pretty
that locks
gangster,
it.
Tim. That looks pretty.
The re
It's a box. Got a box cutter.
just a box cutter.
Blade in there. Yeah.
I
Okay, that's
literally
cool.
just
It's easily
you
replaceable.
just push that. Yeah, just
Okay.
if you look at it, it's just sort of that just drops and then closes. But looking at the mechanism, it's quite. You got that inner part, and then it just slides out. But if you look at TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you might have seen a lady demonstrating a flip phone, and she had basically it was like a gravity phone case. So it's just this massive, probably like a 3D printed case, and she's like pulls it out and just goes whoop and flicks the phone out to answer the phone call, which seems ridiculous, but it would be cool to see this kind of design applied to a torch. So having like all the flat style EDC torches, you reviewed some like the Rovi ones and got the night cores, and having those
Not
flat
clear.
style torches, it'd be great to have this part as like a slightly thicker module that just has the two LEDs, the battery pack, and built like USB-C charging, and then have that whole thing just slide out as it comes up and locks into place. The two contacts would then complete the circuit and turn the torch on. And you could probably have a button to change the mode, or just have it really simple and just flick open, turns on, use the torch, turn it off, and close. Just so you've got this fun, fidgety, gravity flashlight.
Gravity flashlight, man, that would sounds expensive. Probably
Yeah.
why they haven't made one yet.
Surely they could. Yeah, I think the company that makes this particular, what's it called? I've got a box somewhere. It's the read. There we go. Utility. Reed knives.
Yep.
So that company, I'm pretty sure, is now near. It's near Shenzhen. It's probably like, when I say near, it's probably within 500 kilometers or something like that, but it's nearish to Shenzhen.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice if the flashlight factories and knife manufacturers could get together and share designs and come up with some cool fidgety torches.
Yeah. Well, I guess it all comes down to demand, and
Yep.
I don't know anything about the kind of market for these things, like how many units these companies sell, whether they just create them in small batches to try to increase the value of each one. You know what I mean? Sort of limited edition batches.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they'd be difficult to manufacture and just to be costly to manufacture, assemble, design, even. So you don't see them from smaller companies or from budget light companies. You definitely don't see them from Sofern or companies like Workhorse that focus more on that cost factor, cost effectiveness, and functionality, especially when they're at the at the moment where they're just trying to put in those buck drivers and things into some of their their lights. That's not their focus, but yeah, it'd be
If
interesting
you
to see
take
what else they come up with.
Yeah, if you
Uh,
think about like the design of the Rider RX, it's still very much a torch, and there's not much different from their existing machining. They still create
Yeah.
the aluminium inner tube, and they just have to machine the outer tube. That's
hmm
probably the tricky part. Um,
You, you,
just
you know
inside
what
the
I think?
sheath.
What would be cool if they could integrate those fidget parts, make them practical in a sense. Like if you that spinny thing, I could imagine maybe that could be used to measure. Like maybe it clicks every inch or so. So if you're measuring something, and will just click 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, so that it gives it a
Right.
practical. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know what I'm saying, but if it gives it a practical side of it, you know, side of it as
Well,
well.
that'd be quite expensive. It's like a
Probably, yeah.
yeah. You'd have like it's like a rotary encoder type thing where as you move it, it keeps track of exactly where it is. So as you
Yeah,
move, you know how far it's traveled. That'd probably cost a lot more to produce, but it'd be a fun.
yeah.
Some people would probably geek out at having yeah that kind of feature,
Yeah,
combining
maybe. Like I've seen,
electronics and
have you seen those round things that you can get? Those kind of that you can just roll along and it measures. But yeah, I think it's sort of manually. You can look where the marking passes a certain point and then estimate roughly how. I'm just trying to think because I mean, if you're trying to make these things
uh,
practical, which is basically like
yep,
it's not the point of these lights in the first place.
yep.
Practicality isn't really the first thing in mind with fidget lights, but
Yeah,
it's
even like gravity, I'll keep pushing gravity. I've reached out to like 5 manufacturers saying,
yeah,
"Hey, check out this design. Look at this knife company and check out this TikTok of a phone, gravity phone." But it's not really practical. It's just a fun fidgety. So how? Yeah, that's it's still yeah. Because if you look at it's like the drop bear geyser. That's quite easy to yeah to open and yeah compared to a gravity knife. I don't know. It's not. They're both quite easy to open up. Looks cool, sounds cool.
hmm
So, in terms of practicality, yeah, there's not much more. It's probably harder to use a gravity type knife than just a regular, like flip. Oh, but for torches, not too sure. This is just overkill. Like, it's the ultimate fidget, the Make a Time Back 3.
yeah, cool. I
Oh,
think that was a pretty good introduction to these. I don't know if there's anything else we can really talk about with fidget lights.
yep.
It's just to show you guys, that genre, like a different genre of flashlights that you may not have been aware of. It's something that I think not many people review as well because one, it's difficult to get samples of them. Companies produce them in small quantities. They're often pretty expensive. They're not super popular, but there is a small niche market. And for people who appreciate something different, and maybe you've got 10, 15, you've got tons of flashlights, and you want to get something special, even if it's as a gift or something like that, it would definitely stand out. That's for sure. It's going to look a lot different, and
Probably the
yeah.
bolt action pens as well. The OLED Open Glow. I should have brought that here. But that's got
Oh yeah,
yeah
that. Yep.
laser plus little. It's got a side light and it's got a little nib that yeah, it lights up the little point, the ball point. So there's two lights and a laser built into the one pen, and it's got a bolt action thing to control the whole thing. So that's a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
but I think fidget lights, they don't have to be super expensive as well. Like you get a Ray Light Pineapple Mini, which I don't know if it's proper fidget light or whatever, but it does have a really cool switch on the back that I
Yep.
just sit at my desk and I play with this thing. If you're one of those people that just can't sit still like myself, I don't know. I find that I'm just always moving around. I have to keep my hands busy. Helps me concentrate.
Yep.
You know,
It's
just
like
good
the
to have
big
something.
pens.
Yeah, like the four-colored big
Yeah.
big pens. That was the first. That was like the original, the OG fidget. fidget toy.
Yep.
Yeah, they're a lot
And
cheaper as
sometimes
well,
you see
Tim.
people playing with what's the other one? Like the blue and you got the side release plus the top, so you just activate with the top
Oh,
and then side release like
I can tell. I can tell you into these. I think I can tell you've got a ton more of these sitting around at home.
It's just something I noticed like on the phone and like someone's just full on going like while talking to me like
Yeah,
just
and
fidgeting
and it,
away.
yeah. I probably annoy people too. Like I used to, if you get a pen, just sort of click at it constantly.
Yep. This would
Yeah,
drive someone crazy in an office, so I wouldn't recommend using fidget torches in an office
but
environment.
some of them do have a really quiet button. I
Yep.
don't know, like just a tactile button. Even this one, like the SK03, that's got a really super quiet button. You're not
This
gonna
kind of saved the day
disturb anyone.
on the weekend with my nephew at a birthday party. It was like my daughter's birthday party, and there's a whole bunch of her friends there, all girls, and like my nephew came along, and he's a little bit younger, and he was just full of energy, running around, going nuts. And I'm like, oh, check this out, and like this just captured his attention for about 30 minutes because he was just
Wow.
running around full on, and like, oh, here, check this out, and he was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hey,
having
that's a
fun with
pretty good.
this.
But I think that would sell it for me, man. That would sell it for me. If it keeps like kids busy and stops them from, maybe gives you a break for
Yep,
half an hour. Yeah,
yep,
yeah. I think that's probably the best selling point, like of that we've thought of actually. So, does you
yep.
do you
Can
do you
keep
give that
people
to you?
entertained.
Do you give that one to your daughter as well, or just she's not interested? She's like, I've seen that before.
No, she definitely, yeah. I showed her the other week, and had a lot of fun spinning it, and yeah, liked playing with it. But
Yeah,
yeah, she lost interest after like an hour or so.
yeah.
Yeah, got too many other distractions, so lost interest.
Sounds like a smart kid.
Yeah, it's like how to get girls into this, I guess.
Yeah. Don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about, Tim? Because I think we kind of covered most of it.
Um. Oh yeah,
40
please
minutes.
leave a comment if you know of any other fidget torches. So we got the Manker Time Back 3. There's I think Lumen Top Gyro. There's Hey Big
Mm,
Papa. Oh, we didn't see comments.
there's one more comment.
Maybe there's some comments that
Uh,
aren't coming through.
just got the Workhorse TS22. Is this Big Papa Reviews? Because it shows up as like a different username.
I do. There
Is
might be comments on the other streams that we can't see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if it actually shows all the comments or not. I think these are ones from this one from my channel. Yeah, just got the Workers
Yep,
TS22 pocket clip feels flimsy. Any
yep.
aftermarket stuff? Hmm. TS22, is that the 21700?
To take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, I find a lot of these Workos, a lot of the Workos clips, unfortunately, are not the best. Same with the Sophone. Like their newer lights are better, but I find especially a lot of their older lights, their clips are, yeah, they just have a bit too much spring to them. Whereas if you compare it to something like a Next Torch light, their clips are seriously got a lot of tension to them. Even this Ray light, I mean, it's just the only one I have on my desk, but they're using a different grade of steel in there. Okay, yeah, so I see what you're talking about. TS22. I got the TS21 actually, which I'm pretty sure it's also 20. Yeah, it's 21700. What would be an alternative? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure because it looks like it has one of those thinner battery tubes as well. Not battery tubes, sorry. Thinner diameter friction rings. Otherwise, I'd recommend one of the Nightcore ones. But I do find that they've just got a little bit of a wider, yeah, like a wider friction ring, so it's not going to clip onto that groove properly, and it's going to shift around. Yeah, all I can think of is maybe some of the Next Torch ones. You might want to just check online and just see if Workos have any other additional replacement, yeah, clips for their newer torches. I find their newer lights have better clips on them. 4K peel, but really 2K. 2K, 4K, 4K peak, but really 2K. Okay, all right. So you're saying that it's rated at 4,000 lumens, but it's really 2,000. Yeah, if it's got a FET driver in it, yeah, it's if it's got a FET driver and you're using the stock Worko cell, often you're not going to get that full 4,500. In fact, even with a high draw cell, you're not going to
I
get
think
that.
you probably look at Olight pocket clips as well. They might fit some of those might. Yeah, they might fit the Workhorse TS22.
Yeah, like
It's a
what's that one?
like a
With the
the
SFT
baton.
4070 in it. Was it the Warrior 3? Warrior 3S. Warrior 3S. That's got a really good clip on it.
Oh no, the baton
Deep carry.
3. No, sorry, they're too long. Not too long, but too wide. So it's a baton
Yeah.
3.
The difficulty is just finding one that fits in that groove on the light.
Maybe skill hunt.
Yeah. And yeah, is that smothered chrome flashlight bottom right? Which one? He's talking to me or smothered chrome?
This one.
That
This is a Ace Beam Rider RX.
yeah.
Yeah.
May see if it just has a break in the pocket clip.
I think 21700. Yeah, it's a it is an Ace Beam Rider RX. So it's by Ace Beam. It's got a bolt action pocket clip. So the pocket clip is attached to this aluminium tube, and I can push the whole thing. So it's literally just moving the flashlight inside this outer metal sheath. There's 3 little ball bearings. There's one there, and there. So I can go side to side and then side it like a bolt action. And it's got a metal button, CNC'd button on the tail. Oh, there's a battery in it. Cool. There's a new version with a.
Is that copper, Tim? Is that one copper?
The outer parts, I think, stainless steel.
This looks gold to me. I don't know if it's.
It's got a PVD coating. Can't remember what that kind of coating is.
What's PVD? What's PVD stand for?
I don't know. It's some like powder coating type thing.
Yeah, cool.
It's got a copper pill, so to help with the heat dissipation. There's an Initia 219F emitter. It's not the 219B. I think 219F.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got this copper pill.
Top Dog says good clip on the Warrior 3, but need an adapter to mount the clip bezel down. Yeah, I also thought of another thing. If you have a clip, you can get a clip that doesn't necessarily fit. Maybe it'd be a little bit wider, the friction ring. What I did on one of my clips, and that was because it didn't have any coating. If you do it on a clip that's got a coating, it doesn't look good. But you can actually just grind it down and make the actual ring thinner so that it fits onto the groove of one of these lights. But yeah, it's a lot of work and honestly unnecessary. It's a bit sort of hit and miss when you're getting second, aftermarket clips or using clips from other lights. It's easy for us because we can just sort of pull one off and try and see if it fits. But otherwise, it can be a little bit of a gamble. And sometimes even the angle that the clip comes in and hits the battery tube is important as well. Sometimes it might leave too much of a space, or yeah.
Yeah, there's
Workhorse.
so some people grind down the uh,
Yeah.
before there was deep carry pocket clips. I think people took Olight as the M2R clips, and then they grinded the things that was narrow and then shoved it onto a MSR D4V2 to get a deep carry clip on a MSR D4V2. But this is a D1 Mini with its own custom pocket clip.
Is he's talking about you got a second mortgage worth of flashlights.
The shelf was only $90. It's only one fourth full. It's a quarter full. So
That's where that's just where it starts, isn't it? Jesus. I don't have space to bring mine out, so I keep mine in boxes.
like random.
We also we also review lights on our channel. That's just like part of our side business kind of thing. So it's easier for us to get them as well because we get samples from companies. So we do buy them as well. Yeah. Let's see. Clips are important for me, not to carry, but to make orientation of the light easy, to find the side button easy. Yeah.
Random M3.
Okay. Top dog.
Fellow enthusiast kindly sent a torch. Battery. 26650.
Had to get a comment here to get the Convoy M21B SFT40 when I got the TS2. Any of you got one to show? It's still in the mail. The M21B.
No.
Yeah. I'll go grab it.
In your box.
Not the SF, yeah, it's not the SFT40 version, but yeah.
So I'll need to swap out the emitter in this one. It's kind of faulty. So I turn it off, you'll notice two dies are not working. So that, yeah, need to swap the emitter in this one. What? Oh, got a couple of throwers as well. A bunch of LEPs. This torch is scary. The Night Watch Chaos. It's I think it's got 30,000 lumens roughly. But it reaches about 78 degrees Celsius. It's got, yeah, just a wall of light. It gets super hot.
All right, here we go. Convoy M21B. I reviewed this one on my channel. A couple of models of this one actually. I love this light. It's just okay. For a 21700 self flashlight, it's still pocketable, and because you got a larger head as well on the thing, this larger reflector, it just has really good throw. This is I think it's the green one. Yeah, jeez. This is with the CULPM, sorry, CSLPM PM1.F1, which is like a green emitter. It's just such a bargain, these convoy lights. And actually, guys, speaking of even fidget lights, or I don't know if you can put them in the same category, but some of those copper flashlights, Convoy do some of those as well. Titanium flashlights. They've got the. Do you remember what was the double A one, the 14500 one that Convoy does?
It's a T3, I think.
Yeah, yep. T2,
Convoy
T3. I
T3.
can't remember which one.
Oh, yeah. T4. Sorry, I think it's the T4.
Yeah, that's like a good entry level, like fidget flashlight as well.
It's hard to do 21700 flashlights fare well on the car. Not in Australia. Sorry. I wouldn't store a lithium ion cell in the car. My dash cams blew up using lithium polymer batteries. They didn't like blow up, but the battery packs got really swollen and stopped working, and it just sort of expanded and broke the cameras because it gets way too hot. I mean, they're probably okay. Temperature wise, it might degrade over time if it's consistently really hot, like above 40 degrees. So it's good to just keep them stored below 25 degrees Celsius. But if you've got it in the dash somewhere, it might explode. Lithium primaries are okay. If you travel, if you can either buy the Energizer L91s from a store, or if you find weather balloons, different air services at airports, they'll launch weather balloons with the radiosondes, and I think Vasala is one company that makes the radiosondes, and they've got 2 times AA lithium ion, or not lithium ion, lithium primary batteries. So you can get a bunch of free batteries that just fall out of the sky if you track down the balloon, because it's got a little radio transmitter saying where it is. It's like sondhub.org. You can just track them on the website.
How do you store batteries? I think, Tim, you probably got the better answer here. I don't think I store them too safely myself, but you think you've got your own containers. Look, as long as you keep temperature is a big thing. Most of these lithium cells, you shouldn't go above about 55 to 60 Celsius. So that's when Tim was saying if you've left them in the car under the sun and they get really hot, that's when they can start causing a lot of problems. If you charge them, if you overcharge them as well, make sure also the terminals, there's no chance of it short circuiting. The terminals aren't connected, so
I'm just using ammo boxes. This Kiwi photo box is actually a purpose built. They've got this plastic cutout that fits the 21700 cells perfectly. So I got a whole bunch of 21700 cells, and I'm using an ammo box, MTM S2512D. It's a shotgun shell box, but I use that to store my AA's, AAA's.
Wow.
Sorry, got a cable, and there's also it will store 18650s as well. So got little 18350s, 16340s, and that's these shotgun shell boxes are good for those.
Do you discharge them, Tim? Do you discharge them to a certain voltage, like 3.6, 3.7 volts? Or is it safe?
Yeah, 3.6, so like 80% of it's, I think, 4.2 is the full charge, so I drain them to 3.6, and I think, I use the Xtar VC8S. So there's a review on my website, timmcmahon.com.au. You can check Darren's review as well of the VC8S. I use that to discharge the batteries using storage mode, and it just drops them down at 3.6 volts. So this one's a nice upgrade because you can do 8 cells at the same time. Previously with the VC8, you had to do 4 at a time, but now you can use all 8 slots to just discharge your cells and store them. And every year or two, I'll go and charge them and make sure they're not discharging below 3 volts.
It also increases the usable lifespan of the battery when you keep them at that voltage. Rather than just continuously charged. But at the same time, I do see value in, if you, I don't know if you're like a prepper or if you just really want to make sure that you've got a bunch of batteries that are completely charged in case there's a power outage or something, it might be a good idea to keep a few that are fully charged and separate them out, and just, accept the fact that they're probably going to degrade faster than your other ones. But for longevity and for safety. I mean, I find, Tim, even when I get flashlights in the mail and batteries in the mail, they're already discharged to that voltage anyway. They're already at that 3.6, 3.7 volts. So the manufacturers seem to keep them discharged in storage too.
Yep. I,
Yeah,
you could use, yeah, I think they keep them discharged at 3.5, 3.6, and could use a power bank like an X-Star PV2S,
sweet.
X18650s and 21700s. We had power outages in Melbourne a couple of times over the past 4 years, and we've had like a couple of days worth of power outages. So in those scenarios, I actually rushed around to vape stores to try and get some extra cells, so that I could charge them up and then use them at home for lighting. And I needed to use the rely on batteries for light. Like, we had no power for about 2-3 days, which wasn't fun. So I don't have all of them at a storage voltage. I've got some 21700 cells that are about 4.1, 4.2. They're close to 4.2 volts, like 4.18, which is not good for the cell life over time. Like after 5-10 years, capacity is slightly less than it would have been if I kept them at a 3.6 volt storage. EDC, I guess. Geez, my EDC is actually a Rovivon, geez, A8, just a little keychain torch,
Mm.
which is strange, but I mean, it just fits on my keys. I go to work, and that's it. That's what I'm carrying at the moment. um,
Yeah, that's surprising. I thought it'd be one of your ray lights.
it
For
is at home, but not for. If I go to work, it's sort of. I'll just use what's on my keychain, and yeah.
yeah. I don't know if you end up getting one of those E8s or the E1s as well that has the replaceable AAA cell. I carry that one on me all the time. That's in
I
my
didn't. Yeah.
backpack. Yeah. But yeah, the other
Yeah.
light I carry on mostly is the Convoy S8. So
Yep.
that's mainly if I'm, when the sun's down, I'll usually carry around the Convoy S8. It's a little tactical style 18650 flashlight, and I get the one that has the green emitter in it, CSL NM1 or CSL PM1.F1, and great throw, candela, and yeah, I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. You can always just get the white version, but I find it's great. You can.
I've actually been EDCing a headlamp when I go to work in the morning at like about 8 a.m. and then as I'm coming home, it's dark already because it's winter in Australia. So sometimes it's faster if I just walk home instead of try to catch the bus and wait. And yeah, I'd rather not wait in the cold and just walk home instead, even though it's 30 minutes. And I'd just use a headlamp because that keeps my hands free. Because I found just a bit lazy. If I try to hold a torch the whole way, it just gets a bit. Don't really like having to hold a torch up at my chest height, or I don't. It's just weird. It's easier to have a headlamp on and not have to focus. But I have been taking different torches with me, like the Weltool T1 Pro V2. I took that for a spin the other day, and when I'm testing torches like the Acebeam T35, I try to take those out when I'm coming home from work and just spend half an hour walking home along a dark creek and seeing how the beam performs. Just thinking whether I should do live streams more. I did that with the Weltool the other day. Might be interesting.
Maybe
to see how.
maybe when you're walking home, Tim, like just to,
Yeah.
because around about where you are, you don't have there's not as much light around there, so it's kind of cool. Like you can really test out the light's full capabilities over there. There's too much ambient light where I'm at. Do you know this? That someone's asked this question: is it best to remove the battery from a light when storing it?
Yeah.
Is it
It
safe to store it
depends.
a lot?
If it's it depends. If you don't have a good storage place and you're going to put it somewhere where there's a risk of it shorting out, then no, it might be safer to keep it. Like at the moment, I've got a bunch of cells that are too big to fit inside these boxes, and It would be safer if I taped the ends with some kind of electrical tape to try and prevent them from shorting. So yeah, don't mix metal surfaces with battery storage, or you might short things out and cause a fire. If you've got a mechanical, like a clicky, this one's just a tail clicky. As soon as the button's released, the circuit is disconnected and it's not draining the battery anymore. So it's safe enough to keep that there. Keep it out of reach of children. But yeah, there's all these considerations.
But they do come, some of the lights that do come with these insulation paper thingos in there as well.
Yep.
So that
Yeah,
can
the
help. But I know
insulating
what you
film.
mean. I mean, it's still not 100%, fail safe. Could degrade over time or something like that. I don't have the space really. I keep a lot of mine just stored like this, and I'll just put that bit of insulation material, unscrew the tail cap.
Yep. I think that's a good way to do it too. Like with this LEP, I think I've got an insulation, just the insulating film or circle on this small cell.
Yep.
And
They made
yeah,
out of plastic as well, so sort of.
so
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave it for several years. I mean, probably sell the torch if you're not, unless it's a collector piece. But yeah, check your batteries every year or two just to make sure they're not discharging below a safe rate. They might be damaged beyond salvaging, and you just might need to get rid of it and send it to a recycle place. Just tape the ends so they don't short circuit and start a fire.
Yep. And Top Dog says you convinced me to buy that Convoy. That's awesome, Top Dog. Yeah, they're just great value flashlights, and Tim and I use a bunch of them. We don't earn any commission or anything off them, but we do recognise that for beginner and enthusiasts that have been interested in torches for a long time, they just represent such good value. So, I think they're great. What
Yep.
else do we have? More comments.
Yeah, Flak Diesel raised, said that they noticed the battery drains over time when it's not being used, and that happens. If there's an electronic tail switch or a side switch, it might be continuously draining. It's known as parasitic drain or standby drain. When I do a review, I try to measure the standby drain and publish that on the review. Hopefully, it's microamps, and if it's a really, really small amount, it might take years to drain the cell, which is great. But if it's a higher parasitic drain or a high standby drain, then there was a defect in the firmware for the Workhorse TS10 initially, where you could kill the battery after 3 days, or something like 3 or 4 days, because the standby drain was sorry, when the auxiliary lights were on. So the aux lights were taking up too much power.
Oh, okay. They're too bright. You can't. Yeah, there's no way to dim them or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's best in some cases, you can twist the head or twist the tube to disconnect the circuit. But I think with these ones, it won't fully disconnect, and you'll still have some kind of parasitic drain. So it's best to take the battery out if it's this type of torch.
That's a good point, because they don't, when the threads are not anodized as well, that's when I find that they don't disconnect. Titanium lights even have that same issue, I think.
But,
yeah. See?
This is a good example of these well tools being anodized. So you've got the camouflage anodizing, where it basically means that this raw part that's kind of silver, you see the silver ring, that's not anodized, and that's where it makes contact with the circle. So that's how the circuit forms. You've got the back of the battery and the outer tube, and because this is anodized, it means if I turn the torch on, I can rotate it slightly and disconnect. So I can just turn it on and off by doing that. But if it was completely unanodized and raw, then as soon as I start to screw it on, it would turn on, and
It
Yeah, that's
also
where you need to
depends.
take the thing out.
And you know, like some of these manufacturers also, they don't have the best anodizing, and so if the anodizing wears off, then it does the same thing. It doesn't break connection. I've noticed that with some of my convoy flashlights, mainly the bigger ones. The smaller ones, I haven't had much of an issue, but you know, it's just a thing that would happen with any flashlight really over time. But with the better, you know, with the more expensive brands, sometimes I find they're using a thicker anodizing layer, which can help. Uh, he says, "Got to walk my puppy, but appreciate vids. Darren, been binge watching them while my TS22 was in mail. Thanks for coming along, mate. And yeah, make sure you also check out our, you know, our actual podcast channel. I'm just streaming on my channel as well, so that you can just bring people over to the actual podcast. I'm gonna want to cut the stream. I'm gonna remove this video from my channel. It's just a little project Tim and I started, so we can get talking about lights and maybe some other tech products as well later on. But we thought start it off and talk about lights.
Like the fidget torches.
Yeah, Top Dog's talking about Olight. Used to have a Seeker sized light that had continuous charge, a basic light charge for emergency. Okay, battery lasts about 3 years. Interesting.
That's pretty good.
I think someone tried to join the stream. It just says device not connected. Yeah, if you want to pop on, just make sure you connect your mic and your cam, and you can join. Oh, okay. Guess they've left.
Okay.
Light R50. Cool. I haven't heard of that one. It must have been it's an older model. Looks like you said.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, but you still get. I've got some old EGTAC cells that have been going for 10 years. The capacity is not as good as it was, but they're still working.
Yeah, and with that XTAR charger as well. I mean, there's not XTAR, but there's many chargers that do battery capacity tests on them. So if you're worried that the battery is, you know, degraded past a certain point, you can actually test. It will charge the battery up completely to 100% and then discharge it, and then we'll tell you the milliamp hour reading afterwards. And yeah, I have actually done that with a bunch of cells that I took out of a Dyson vacuum cleaner. If one of the cells goes bad, then the entire battery pack just won't work anymore. So I took one apart, put the batteries into my XTAR VC8S, and managed to grade them all. And yeah, most of them actually have almost, you know, maybe 80% of the initial rating. So yeah, they're still usable for basic things around the house. I got that charger actually from Tim. Tim
Yep.
kindly donated me that charger when he saw the horrible charger that I was using before. I think he was worried that the thing would blow up on me. So yes,
I was a bit concerned, if I don't like mixing 240 volts with batteries, just in case.
Yeah. What's this? You were showing me this before.
It's the A-Torch DL24. It's a electronic load. It applies it's got this little, I think, a FET thingy, and a massive heatsink. It just consumes power, so you can hook up a battery, and let's see.
So it just consumes. What do you mean? It just consumes power?
There's a battery right here.
Test the battery.
Yeah. If you imagine that, like it's like a resistive type load. Like if you've got a flashlight, when you turn on the flashlight, it's consuming like 3 amps, or if it's on turbo, it might be like 15 amps. If it's a little hot rod, so you can tell this one to. So, yeah, cool. So now it's drawing 10 amps. So that's quite. It's not insignificant. It's 10 amps like turbo. You might have a 10 amp draw with your torch. But you can tell this to draw 1 amp or 2 amps, 3 amps, 10 amps, or like milliamps. and I can measure the capacity of the cell over time. So you could do capacity testing with this little thing too. I got this to try and just make it drain the battery much faster. Because if I want to charge the cell and do a test, I don't want to wait forever. I think with the VC8S, it'll do a 300 milliamp or zero 0.3 amp discharge rate, which is quite slow.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
if you've got a
So
big capacity
how
cell,
fast is this? How fast is this one discharge? Can you make it discharge?
uh, geez, I'm not sure what the maximum is. Um,
Yeah,
it's currently 10 amps. I'm not sure if I can go higher. Oh,
that's
30
so cool,
amps.
man. Did you make this yourself, or is this
Oh
like a
no,
simple
no,
product? Okay.
it's just a product. It's like
Yep.
$30 or something, or
Yeah.
maybe
It seemed like
50.
something
Yeah,
you seemed like something you could like make yourself. Like
yep,
you specifically,
yeah.
not me.
I got this from Vapcell or Vapecell, Vapcell. I got
Yeah.
this holder from Vapcell. I think they fit inside an actual battery testing type thingy. Sorry, this is just a little holder, so it's like a spring loaded thing, so I can put the cell in and measure it. But I'm not doing a lot of tests with this. I'm just discharging the cells quickly and then putting them in other chargers. So I've started testing the XTAR VX4, and I've done about 16 different tests of the VX4 using different types of 3.6 volt lithium ion cells, AA NIM cells, and yeah, just trying to make sure it works as expected. And I'm finding that the way I'm testing it is not how I use a charger normally. Because when you go to use a charger, at least I find that I'm either taking a battery out of storage and it's a 3.6 volts, so I'll put it in, charge it to 4.2 volts, and go. Or it might be something that's sitting in a torch and it could be at 3.9 volts or 4 volts, and I just want to top it up to 4.2. So most of the time, I'm just topping up cells using a charger. But when I do a test, I'm draining the battery voltage down to like 2.6 and then putting it inside the charger and then looking at the whole thing charged from 2.6 all the way up to 4.2, which is not something people would often do. You'd normally just top up a cell. So it's putting it to the extreme because I think the internal resistance goes a bit higher when the voltage is low at like 2.6 volts, and then the charger automatically negotiates the current. So it might decide 250 milliamps or 500 milliamps is suitable because there might be like a 70 milliohm internal resistance. But at a higher voltage, it might be like 3.9 volts, and the internal resistance may only be like 35 milliohms. And then the charger will go, oh, okay, it's a low resistance. I'm going to let you charge this at 3 amps, which is great because then I can fast charge the battery. So I noticed, yeah,
Mm.
there's an issue with the charger where it detects the high internal resistance at the start, it locks it into 0.5 amps, and then it doesn't increase. So it would be nice if the charger could automatically increase the current over time. So if I'm like, charges at 3 amps, and it will go, oh, actually, Tim, it's the internal resistance is too high. Let's charge this at a slower rate so that we don't make the cell get hot and potentially cause a fire. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a safeguard.
It, and some of those, they have this trickle charge function for batteries that are discharged below a certain voltage. I think that's super important that you can revive those older batteries that are below
Yep.
2 point whatever volts.
Yep.
Where it would be unsafe to charge them in a in a charger that just wouldn't be able to handle that amount of internal resistance. I did find, I don't
Yep.
know what it does. It just lowers the charging rate to like 125 milliamp hours or something really really low just to get it
Yep.
to yeah to get
Yeah, I
charging
think
again.
I've been
The
using the
protection
X-Star
circuit.
MX4 for that.
Okay, yeah.
Because some of
Is it
the
something to do with the protection circuit? Does it get triggered and then just locks out the battery from being charged at a certain point?
it depends on the charger. So some advanced chargers are not they're too smart for their own sake, and they go, oh, this is a 0 volt lithium cell that you're trying to insert, so I'm not going to attempt to recharge it. But if you put it into a slightly dumber charger, it will apply some current, and then that will reset the protection circuit. So if you've got a protected cell, like here's a simple cell, it's got a little protection circuit at the end. So if the voltage drops too low, it will cut it. It will cut out and then have 0 volts. And if you put it into some chargers, it will detect 0 volts and just go, nope, I'm not even going to try to charge this. It's dangerous. And then other chargers will apply a little bit of a current, and that will reset the circuit so that it goes from 0 volts back up to like 3.2 volts. So it can be tricky depending on the type of charger you've got. It can be difficult to work with protected cells. And when I was testing like the Innova GeoFalcon S8000 battery charger analyzer, that didn't work with protected cells because it would detect 0 volts and not work. So I talked with Innova, and the engineers changed the software or changed the firmware and fixed it. So now it's able to reset them. Yeah, but yeah, that's another thing I like to test with the torches. Like, is there low voltage protection? And this particular torch doesn't have low voltage protection. So if I put an unprotected 14500 cell in it and use the torch, it will drop below 2.5 volts, and it becomes a bit dangerous. You'll end up damaging the cell. When I mean dangerous, it's just it's unlikely you'll start a fire. You'll just end up damaging the cell, and then when you go to recharge it, the capacity gets reduced, and eventually, if you keep doing that over and over and over again, it might start to heat up when you're charging it. Tactical Armor EDC saying, awesome work, Matt. Thank you. This is from lightshop.com.au. They did an end of financial year sale, and I bought this for half price, the Menka Time Back 3, and they gave me this as a random gift. It's like We Knife Civivi Sencut.
Oh, they're the same company. They make a few different knives.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a fiveknives.com.au. It's a spin-off from Adam. He's got Light Shop, and he's got this knife company too to resell these pocket knives.
Paddy Poss, how you doing? Good to see you.
Take this out. What? I wonder if people are waking up and we just started too early.
I think so. Well, in the States, I think around 12 a.m. for us is a good time to stream. I find out around this time, well, the time that we start anyway, it's some Aussies and just some people maybe on shift work and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. What's the time for you guys in the States? If you're watching from the States, maybe I should just Google this.
Yeah, I'm still an amateur. The REIT EXO utility. I was trying to mess around with trying to learn tricks, so I should do it without gloves.
8 a.m., 8:48 a.m. on the East Coast. Yeah, probably people were sleeping before when we started. Be like between 6 to 7 a.m.
I can't even remember. I was trying to figure out some kind of trick I could do with this based on the angle and then flip it over, and I'm just trying to use it practically, which is just use the inertia to push it forward, lock, cut, and then drop it back, close, done. I'm not really good at doing fidget type tricks with this thing. Some people complained about the butterfly spring. I think they thought it would come out, or they managed to get it to snap, and I haven't really noticed any issue.
Is that to swap the blade for another one?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just cut myself. No, I'm fine.
Oh, are you okay?
No, I'm joking. Take my gloves off and then cut myself. So that's got one side. So it's got two little clips there. And this one. There we go. So this. Oh, there we go. There is. I had to break this in a little bit because initially when I closed this, when I first got it, I struggled to get that to fully close. It was kind of locking and it was getting snagged. But after playing around with it quite a bit, yeah, I think it locks into place. So when it was fully extended, it wasn't closing properly. But now it's got a smooth action, like the tombstone or coffin style lock.
People are pretty happy with your excited with you about your different blades, man. I don't really have any. I've got like
Yeah.
I've got this Civivi one, which I really like, but I'm not a big collector like you, so
I'm not even a knife collector.
you've got
I
more
guess
than
some
me.
people have briefcases full of, got the cutouts and all that, but I've just got
Yeah.
only 10. I only got like 10 knives. And if you look at my torches, I've got a couple. It's probably 100 and something. Best pocket thrower.
Tits
Oh,
McGee.
geez.
Oh, the
Think
Convoy S8. I mean I can't. I have to say something about that.
D1 Mini, MSR D1
Yeah.
Mini.
Yeah.
Uh, MSR D1 Mini is a good pocket thrower. Um, there's the Weltool T1 Pro, but this is fine with the protected cell, but I wouldn't use it with an unprotected cell. This is a great little pocket thrower. Yeah, the Weltool T1 Pro version 2. You can get it in black if camouflage purple's not your thing. There's the Enlight DL2. It's an LEP, but it's practical as a thrower when you're walking around in the dark, but you have to point it about 10 meters away because you can't point it up close. So it's okay, but it's not the best for walking around at night. You probably want a traditional style reflector with a smooth reflector to get that spill so that you can see properly when you're walking. So many options though.
There are. I mean, you can talk about all the mainstream brands or the budget brands. You know, Convoy does a lot of great throwers, but even Nightcore, I've got a couple of Nightcore lights that I carry around with me as well. The MH12 SE, but they're the new one now, the MH12 Pro. But the ones that you got a bunch of those, what do you call them, MSR lights, which are
Yep.
also like fantastic throwers as well. But are they mostly side switch ones? Side
Yeah,
switch lights, it seems
I've
to be.
actually I think I gave away. Sorry, people horrified. I give away my torches. It's like I gave away a couple of MSRs, and I've just got D4VS2, D4S V2, like, and then a D4 V2 and a D1 Mini. So I've only got about 3 MSRs at this stage. Even the new, what was it? Jeez, I've already forgotten. It's the D3. I think it's the MSR D3. I gave that away to Steve from Apple. I bought that and like, oh, I should give him a gift. Like, it just arrived. Like, I'll give this to Steve, so I gave it to him and catch and release. I had it for like an hour.
What would be your favorite torch light you can clip to your shirt and hat? Something for first responders or hands-free?
Oh, jeez. There's a completely different answer until you said first responders. I would have said very light pineapple mini because it's such a lightweight thing, and if I'm just wearing a singlet, I could just attach it to my singlet and that'll work.
Yeah.
Um,
What about that? I don't know. The thing with some of these Rovivon lights, so they're awesome, but because it got so many different functions in it, it might be difficult if you need to activate it quickly and not accidentally activate another feature. I do
Um,
carry the E8.
something simple, like a Streamlight
Yeah,
would be good.
yeah. That's the only one that I carry with me in my bag. The Rovon the E8. I think it is E1 or E8. The one that just has the side auxiliary lights as well, so I clip that to my helmet. Hands free.
Trying to
Do you have
think,
any with
you're better off.
holsters? You know how you can get some with holsters that you can move around, and yeah, but that's clip to your shirt or hat. Don't know. So
If
that
you're at
faces
law
forwards.
enforcement, I don't have everything down with me. Got
Be
because I
difficult.
EDC the next torch TA30C sometimes.
I mean,
Um,
you'd want something that also can, if you do clip it to your pocket, has like a front facing light like this. But I wouldn't, if you're a first responder, I wouldn't recommend the Night Exo. Though it's still, yeah,
it
I
really
think that'd just be difficult because if you
it
want to
depends
change
on
the
your
pattern,
role. If you're a police
yeah,
officer, then maybe a next torch TA30C or a Olight, something like a Warrior 3S or something with a holster, or something that you can attach to your vest. Yeah, something you can slide into a vest or put in a holster. Just next torch, Olight. They're nice and simple and work, and yeah, fairly heavy duty in terms of smashing things.
Hey,
But
do you know, like Workhorse are doing some new light as well that like has a rotating head. They're sending me one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like an 18650 light, and it's got a floodlight, it's got a spotlight, and it's also got like red LEDs in it. But it's that same design that you can rotate the head, kind of like the X3 Rubin X3. That's not.
is it
It's in
like
a
the L1 at
cylindrical
all, or
torch. Yeah,
is
it
it the
reminds me a
Ruben
lot of
L1?
the L1. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
Workhorse version of the L1, but smaller and with red LEDs in them
yeah.
as well. And I'm pretty sure all the LEDs are just in the head of it, rather than if you got the Wubino one, there's a big LED on the top, and then I don't have it. Mine's in the box, so if you might have it
Yeah.
somewhere.
I don't have an L1. Sorry, I've just got the.
Yeah,
Oh, I've got the Ruben X3s here. So you've got
yep.
the rotating head. But for first responders, I think it would need to be custom tailored for each type of role. If it's a firefighter or police or paramedic, they'd all be quite different types of torches that you'd want to carry. And yeah, something tactical for police officers.
Does this sound like Elon Musk a bit?
I don't listen to Elon Musk, but
Oh, okay. Jeez, okay,
decent
so
upgrade to a
Workers TD01.
oh, this is turning into a general. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh geez. I've got a couple. I got I3T 2 times AAA. I'd have to find the. It's not really. I wouldn't say it's the same. The Limitop PK27. This has only got one extender tube, but you can get. There's a second one like in the box. I haven't got the boxes in the other room. It can take 2 AAAs. You can just get a Raylight pen light. That's got. That can take 2 AAA NIM cells, so a Raylight pen light. I've got them upstairs. You got the pokelet.
Hey, what about the Convoy T4? Isn't that the one you mentioned before that has
the
double A?
single?
Double A or double A or double?
Yeah,
Was it
AA or
triple A?
14500, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lumentop PK27, Raylight, Penlight are 2 good alternatives to if you're looking for a longer i3T. I mean, this is the i3T Plus. They could get the i3T Plus There might be an i3T2 Plus or something. I'm not sure if that exists. Like an upgraded version of it. Sorry, it's gonna cough.
I think you've got way more experience, Tim, with lights that take primary source like that AAA and AA flashlights.
Yep.
I think you've got. Really getting into them these days, but yeah, when I started out, and still for most of the lights I carry around, they tend to be 18650 flashlights. I just prefer the extra brightness and runtime, but of course, primaries, you're not going to be able to use any of those in those flashlights.
So here's a couple.
Thanks, fellas. Looked at the i3T Plus. Didn't seem like much of an upgrade except for the battery life, and its output dropped off quicker than the i3T.
Yep. So you could probably look at, yeah, ray light, pen light. I need to research that. I think if I was going to look for a company that would make a better one, I'd look at Woobin. Either Woobin or Manka might have a better alternative that's a 2x AAA or a 2x AA. I'm just saying that because I think their drivers would be better. But if it's AAA, there's not a heap of options. Maybe check out Parametrics website. There's also 4.7s. I don't know off the top of my head. If you look at the 4.7s brand, like Prometheus type stuff, there might be some longer AAA, like 2x AAA. But these are all just AA and AAA. So got the i3Ts. So Relight i3T in brass. So I've got some of these upstairs, like the stainless steel one that's in use, and a rainbow, not rainbow, donut sprinkle one that my daughter uses. Bunch of ace beam pokelets, and the Manka EO5 II or EO5 2. These have really good drivers, really good output. They're probably the best output compared to all these other ones. Just more lumens. But you can also get Nichia 519A. So if you don't want just cool white and heaps of lumen output, then you can get Nichia 519A with a nice tint. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Tim, I think I got to head off.
Yeah.
I got to finish off a couple of things, but
yep.
Is there anything? Is there 7 of you guys watching so far? Is there anything else? Any other questions that you have before we head off? And Tim's also got a YouTube channel as well, and he's very knowledgeable, especially with the kind of like technical information, general electronics, flashlights. Let me change the thing. So maybe you can share your channel in the chats as well, and I'll pin up so you guys can go check out Tim's channel, and also our podcast, which I have here. I've just put the link here below. So I'm actually just streaming on a few different platforms at the moment, just to get people over to the podcast channel, because we only have about 80 subscribers or something like that on there. So yeah, so after this stream I'm going to remove it from my main channel, and you can access you can check out the full live stream replay of it on the podcast channel. And yeah, I think it'll be great sometime if some of you guys want to come on, and if you're a first responder as well, that would be great. We actually wanted to have as a first responder on. There was a couple of people that were interested, but I haven't been able to get in touch with them but it would be good even get feedback from you guys on
Yep.
what future topics you'd like to talk about. Maybe, maybe we should stream a bit later as well, Tim, so that we can, you know, it's hard for us because
Yeah.
we're in Melbourne, and when we start streaming at like 11 or so, you know, people are sleeping. I mean, we're getting a bit tired as well, but you know,
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah,
we
if
can
we'd
do as well if we
love
can
to hear
make the
from you.
streams.
If you're like a
Yeah.
firefighter or a paramedic, nurse, or yeah, or police, I'd love to hear from you in terms of what kind of torches you're using. Like anecdotally, I know a lot of doctors and nurses end up having to use their phones. Um, if they're trying to do pupil dilation or something, they like got no torches
It's-
available, so they just
that's a
pull out a
tragedy.
phone and
That's
yeah.
a tragedy, Tim. They need you. They need you to show them your collection and.
So it's just like difficult to get suppliers and yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what they prefer to use and what they are using, and same with firefighters. And sometimes you got professional firefighters and volunteer firefighters, and people have to hold fundraisers and try to raise money to try and get funds to be able to go and purchase stuff like Streamlight and Pelican lights. Streamlight Pelican, it could be quite expensive, especially if you're trying to buy enough for like 100 people. Or it's it adds up over time. But yeah, it'd be cool to hear from, I guess, anyone if you want to try and find out what kind of torches you enjoy using, and yeah, just get your perspective, because our perspective is just enthusiasts. We're both flashlight enthusiasts, and looking at we just like different types of torches. It's getting to that stage where it's just whatever's really, really interesting and appealing. And if it's the same generic type of torch, I might pass over and not look at it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, we might end it here, but if you, like I said, if you guys are watching along afterwards, definitely leave a message, leave a chat, leave a comment, sorry, and we'll get back to you. Low voltage techs, IT tech, server and data center techs never have a torch. It's sad. I had to give plenty of them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Thanks all for joining, and hopefully we're able to help out and share a bit of knowledge today. And yeah, it was good fun for us too. I think this one ran like pretty smoothly, like the software. So we'll probably use the same software again next time. And leave the option if you
Yep.
guys want to join along with the link, either just through microphone. Be great to hear from some of you. Cool.
Yep. You stream
I'll
your.
just yeah. All right, we're just going to end it now.
Cool.
So
Yep.
we'll catch
Thanks.
you all next time.
Catch you later.
Okay.
Bye.